Hi everyone, good morning. So I'm doing my next section on this John Maxwell book, The 21 Laws of Leadership, Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I'm with the John Maxwell team and I'm a speaker with them. I've done speaking for the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund in Canada, sponsored by the Conservative government. I've done speaking for the One campaign. But this is different because I'm trying to build up a business and get speaking engagements and speaking through HRPA and other professional bodies. So this is also to help my friends and people who are adapting to Canada, migrants, maybe in other countries in the world. You can take these laws and you can apply them. And today I'm looking at the law of the picture. So with the law of the picture, John Maxwell is basically telling us people do what people see. And that's true of anything. It's true in families, it's true in our friendships. Like parents can tell children all they want, don't do this, do it this way. But children are going to model what they see their parents doing. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell them, don't do it that way, I told you not to do it that way. They're watching what parents are doing. They're watching what aunts and uncles are doing. They're watching what elder cousins are doing. And then they're going to follow that. They're going to say, well, you did that, so I also want to do that. Or you did that, and it looks like a nice thing to do, so I want to do that. And that's just the way that life works. We model our behavior on the people that we see in our lives, the people around us, and that can be true of anything. It can be true of political leaders. It can be true in our organizations too. So it doesn't matter how many times people can say to us, oh, you're valued, you're a valuable part of the team. If they're not treating us right, and they're not giving us the promotions, they're not giving us the exceptions, the special treatment, when we are the ones who are bringing in the good customer service, then that's just lip service. So those are the things we have to remember on our teams, who we are praising, who we are making exceptions for, what we are doing to help our teams grow. And the point I wanted to take from here for today is we need to look at our missions, our purpose. So why are we doing what we're doing? The vision, what are we doing? And then the strategy, the plan, how are we going to do it? So if we have a mission, we can write out a mission statement, even for our lives. That's something, if you've read Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, or Good to Great, you can write out a vision for your life of how you would like to see your life unfold. It doesn't mean that it will unfold that way, but it will give you pointers of what you want to be remembered for, how you want to be remembered. And with me, I like my athletes. So Rafa Nadal has retired now. I watched him right at the beginning and I watched him now towards the end. Unfortunately for me, my life was spent basically scrounging, going from contract to contract, never getting a permanent job. And it's very sad because it's not that I didn't do the work. It's not that I didn't get the praise at the contracts I was on to say, okay, you did a good job at like Toronto Western Hospital or Regis College, U of T. A lot of the places said, you did a fantastic job, but we don't have anything for you. So other people got hired into permanent jobs and I always got let go. And it's not that I didn't do my best. And Rafa Nadal always says, if you're doing your best every day, then nobody can ask for more. And that's what we have to do. With us as we get older, we have limitations. So companies need to take that into consideration if they want to keep us. Most companies don't care, because there's another younger person coming up. They don't care if they lose the knowledge, if they lose the skills, if they lose 5 years or 10 years of service, because in North America, they have a just-in-time hiring. So they'll let go of that bunch of people and they'll bring in the new bunch of people and they'll waste their money training them, getting them up to speed, teaching them the ropes, spending money on recruitment, spending money on education and training, spending money on doing things over. But they don't care because to them, they don't look at it that way. They look at it that we're cutting costs so we don't have to pay somebody $65,000 a year. We'll pay them $11.25 an hour, but they haven't added up all these other costs that they're taking on. All the amount of hours that people have to spend going through resumes, looking at what talents are available, looking at how they align with the organization, what they can do. And that's the model at Teleperformance. And the CEO has said it. He's like, that's our model. We don't want people to come and stay here. We want people to come maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe 5 years, and then move on. So it's a different model that they have here. And also people have told me that the French culture is built on slavery. So their ideology is not that we value people, we want you to come up in life, we want you to be successful with us because you're giving to our organization. Their ideology is, well, that's what immigration is based on. It's based on bringing in the best minds and then exploiting you. So it's a very different mindset to the mindset that John Maxwell is saying companies should have and could have. Because when you're losing all that talent, you're losing all the education, the training, the coaching, it doesn't make sense. But again, if that's what your CEO wants, that's what your CEO wants. They're keeping that CEO in that position for a reason. Just like Barrett Masrani and all these people at TD, they kept them there for so many years knowing that there was this money laundering going on, there was these gift card scams going on. They kept them there. So it's a culture that is being built. And you can't tell me people didn't know what was happening. It's the same thing in our church with our mayor. The mayor was having an affair for years. You mean to tell me Cardinal Collins didn't know? Give me a break. They know. They know what's happening. So if that's the culture that they want to create, we are the people who are going to be swimming uphill against the waters or against the grain. And that's part of our ideology. If you want to get to the top, if you want to be the best, you are going to encounter that. It's just the way it is. It's part of being a spiritual director. You have to be flowing against the water. Because if you don't, all the filth and all the scum and all the snails and everything else in that water will stick on you too. That's how the culture is here. Because everybody agrees with it. It's like, oh, well, if he's having an affair, what's that got to do with here? He's running the town well. He's running Toronto well. Until people got sick of it and they said, no, actually, this matters to us. He needs to step down. Because he's setting an example for our children and for the generations that are coming up. And I know, I knew Mayor Tory because he came to our launch for the One campaign. The same thing with Bill Gates. His employees were the ones that spoke up and said, this is happening and this is what's going on and we don't like it. And then they had to deal with it. So at the end of the day, it's our voices that matter. It's the same thing that happened with that actor. Can't remember his name now. I had it a minute ago. The actor that he picked up that gun and it was loaded. And he was going to be put into jail for murdering a person on the set. But people spoke up and people said, no, you know what, this is not right. Like there's somebody that checks the props, there's somebody that has to make sure that whatever is loaded in the gun, it's supposed to not be a real bullet. So whoever put that there, it shouldn't be him going to jail. So it matters, our voice matters. The same way all these journalists came up and they started speaking out against TD and what was happening and saying, you're supposed to be working in the interest of the public. So our voice matters. It's the same with our health. It's the same when we're competing. Rafa Nadal, I used to like his arms. I used to love Rafa's arms because he was always so pumped up and so athletic. I loved his arms. And also his dress. I liked how he dressed on the tennis court. But he was somebody that dealt with a lot of challenges in his health. But he didn't let it stop him. He didn't say, okay, I'm just going to sit at home now. He played. Right until the end, he played. And look at what great things he's done. He's taken tennis into places where it would never have reached. He's taken it into places in India. He's taken it into the Arab nations. He's taken it into so many places. And for me, that is an example of a good man. And it's the example of, if you want to call it, the Samaritan on the side of the road. There's many people that will turn away from me. They're like, oh, please don't invite her. Like, we'll have our family gatherings and just leave her out, please. And there are other people like Rafa who will say, no, everybody must be included. And the poorest of the poor. And he's the example for me of the, you can say, the outsiders. Like, we are the outsiders. We are the ones who are like the centurions. We're not part of Jesus's inner circle. We're joined on because he accepts us and he takes us in. We're like the centurion that's going to Jesus and saying, you only have to say it and my servant at home will be healed. That's faith. That's how faith is. But you can be a person that goes to church every week like me, and you can be the biggest sinner. I'm not anything. I don't even know why these people chose me to be a spiritual director. You'll have to go and ask Damien Howard that. But I do what I can. I do what I can to help people in their faith and on their faith journey to come closer to God. But I'm not the best example in life. I do whatever I can, and the rest is God's blessings on my life. Now I've got sores in my mouth from all the stress that I'm under, and I don't let that stop me. I have some tincture that I use. I put it in my water. I take it every day. It's a herbal tincture. And I've got some tablets that I'm taking to help me to manage with my stress. I journal every day. I sing. I play my piano. There's big studies here in Canada about how people's mental health is being affected by everything that's going on in Canada. But I keep my faith, and that's how I get through it. And people have told me, even my own aunts and uncles have told me, we don't know how you get through it. I said, well, I have to, because I have a life to live. And I'm not giving up on my goals and my dreams. I'm a dreamer. I'm focusing on the future and my big things that I want to accomplish. So I take it one day at a time. I could have let things devastate me. For my 50th birthday, my godmother told me, okay, you come here for Christmas and then we'll all get together as a family and we'll celebrate your 50th birthday. Then they changed their minds. They all went to California for that Christmas. So I was like, okay, that's fine if that's what you guys want to do. But I celebrated it in my own way. I got a cake. I got the 5 and 0, the candles. I lit them. I celebrated. I watched the Andy Murray documentary on his life and the surgery and everything that he had. And then when the family had time and they were available, I made a trip and I celebrated with my mother. I don't expect them to put me first because they've never put me first in their lives. So if and when they have the time, I fit in with them. And I do the things that make me happy and the things that bring me joy in my life. Because otherwise you'll end up devastated. It's like, oh, well, we were all supposed to get together and I was looking forward to it. I'm like, no. But that's what you have to do in life. You have to free yourself a bit internally so that you don't hurt yourself. Because if you have expectations and other people are only interested in their lives and what they want to do for themselves, you'll end up getting hurt. It's the same way when we have coaching on the job. Because I had gone through so much trauma and I had been let go from so many jobs for 20 years. Can you imagine how hard it was for me? Any little coaching they used to give me, I used to start crying. And the supervisors used to say to me, why are you crying? We're just trying to help you so that you know which way to improve. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I understand that, but every single job I had, whenever they called me for a meeting, it was to fire me. And it was always like, oh, you did this, you did that. And sometimes it was over the smallest things. So it took a long time for me to trust people again, to trust the companies, to trust the supervisors, because I was like, oh, they're calling me for coaching. I'm sure they're going to fire me today. And then when they did fire me, it wasn't because of something I did. It was because of something they did, as usual. Because that's what happened in a lot of the jobs I was on. I was on big management position jobs where I was coordinating projects. People's phones weren't working. I told them, let me do it. And I'll make sure it's done. No, you delegate, you tell them what to do. They didn't do it and then I got fired. Or I tell them, for the people coming in that we were recruiting, save your work in this place when you finished. They wouldn't save it there and then they would fire me. So, if I had let all those things get to me, I would have been completely finished by now. And my doctor knows it, my doctor that's retiring. He knows it. It's been one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. So now I'm working on healing these sores in my mouth. And I'm a very clean person. I take a shower every day. I brush my teeth every day. I do my hair. I do my makeup, my nails. I'm very feminine. So I take care of my body as well. When you take care of your body and you look in the mirror, then you can feel good about yourself. But we have to hold on to our dreams and we have to know that the next generation is watching. And sometimes it's things that we haven't been able to do that they want to do, and that's perfectly fine. If they want to do it and they get the opportunities, they should be supported. Because that's how life should be. It should be getting better for us as the generations go, not worse, not what's happening now in our world, where they're creating great divides of very wealthy and very poor. And for me, for now, I should be in the middle class. I should be earning those 60,000, 80,000, but I'm not, because they're exploiting me. They keep hiring me on minimum wage because they know that, oh, she hasn't got anything else to go to. So that's how they take advantage of people. And when you're born into a family where you lose your father young or you lose one of your parents young, it's much harder if you don't have that community support that's going to help you and that's going to bring you up. Instead, they're going to say, oh no, well, we're looking after our families. My attitude is like, go ahead. Just don't expect me to be there for you. Next time your child has a brain tumor and is in the hospital, don't expect me to come and visit you. And don't expect me to come and make time for you. Because if that's going to be your attitude, at least I know where I stand. Because I want to be in relationships now that are reciprocal, where there's give and take. Not where I'm doing all the giving and other people are doing all the taking. Because God sees everything and God rewards us. But in this world, we also have to be aware that we're not just dealing with good, we're dealing with evil as well. And we have to surround our teams, we have to surround our athletes, the people we're supporting with all the love, because they deserve it. Just like Rafa deserved it. He deserved it. He's such a good role model. I've never seen him once throw a racket, break a racket. I've never seen him do what other players do today. And he deserved it. He finished on a high. He might have be saying, oh, I lost the match, but he was dealing with a lot of health problems. And he finished on a high. For me, he finished with the respect he deserved and he finished with the love he deserved, and nobody could ask for more. No one. I've never finished any of my jobs that way, not one.